Welcome to The Valley's Voice, Arizona Live's Legal Truths.
Hey there, welcome to The Valley's Voice, Arizona Live's Legal Truths with Travis Meltzer, founder and managing attorney at Valley Injury Law. Travis is a practicing attorney in both Arizona and Nevada who began his career in insurance defense before founding his own firm to advocate for individuals. His team prioritizes quality over quantity to give every client the personalized legal support they deserve. My name is Kevin Rosenquist, and today we're talking about one of the most common questions clients ask. How long is this going to take? Travis, welcome back.
Hey, Kevin, thank you so much.
So how long, that's like the big question, right? Like, how long does a personal injury case take from start to finish? And I know you're going to give me the it depends answer, but let's flesh it out a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so you're right. It does completely depend on the injuries. Really, the injuries are the biggest, I would say the first factor of it. Now, the average case, and I would say simple average from the accident to the time you get a settlement check, it's anywhere from 6 to 9 months from the date of the accident. That's about our average time. Now, obviously, there are more cases that'll go longer. There are some cases that'll go shorter, and there's lots of reasons for that. But ultimately, what I tell clients on intakes is the number one time, or I guess the number one clock, is their health. Now, if they get, they treat for 3, 4, 6 weeks and they're perfect, great, then that makes my job easier. There's only 6 weeks of treatment to go get all the records and print out all the bills and records and get those kinds of things. Or, a client can treat for a year. So then, it's one of those things where if you're not better, there's no way for me and my staff and my team to really assess your damages in a case. So until you are 100% or at least as good as somebody's going to get, I have no clue what your case could be worth. Then once you're done treating, it could take another month or two to get bills and records. And that's one of the things we will always have to do is go collect everything. It's another thing that most firms do, especially mine, will go get everything for you. You don't have to do anything. Once you're better, you just sit and hang out. But generally speaking, I would say the cases are about 9 months is the general expectation of time. Now, if we litigate, things will get a little longer and a little bit more detailed. But really, it's going to depend on your treatment. It is that number one clock.
What are the major phases or milestones, if you will, in a typical case? How does it sort of unfold?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So you have the date of the accident. Then once you sign with us, we'll put you in a treatment. We call it investigation, kind of the same concept. You are treating. We are gathering all of the investigatory documents, the police report, the pictures from you, pictures possibly from the other insurance company, letters to the insurance company. So that's all while you're treating. Once you are done treating, the biggest thing is you let us know. Then we'll start collecting your records. That's the next thing. You're done treating. We'll start getting all your bills and records in from your providers. Then once we're done collecting the records, the next one is preparing the demand. The demand letter is essentially just detailing what the accident happened, how it hurt our client, their story, also the kind of the timeline of medical care, the cost of that medical care, and also how it affected their life. It really, for us, it humanizes the clients because ultimately it's a letter, right? It's just a piece of paper in front of these insurance adjusters, and they already look at all of our clients as numbers anyway. So at the very least, we try to provide a story with our demand, and you demand a certain amount of money. Once the demand is received by the insurance company, we enter what's called the negotiation phase. That's the next big one. It's where I will be working with the client, be that go-between with the insurance company, and then hopefully settle the case. So that's really where it is. And then if we get into litigation, talk about it a little bit later here soon. And then so really those are the big 4 phases that the clients really need to worry about.
What typically kind of factors into if a case moves fairly quickly compared to the average or takes a lot longer compared to the average?
Yeah, so I would say 2 things. One, again, the client's health. If you have much significant injuries, broken bones, surgeries, scarring, things like that, that's one of the things that can and will cause a case to go on longer than it should, or you would hope. The other one would be liability. Now, if the insurance company is challenging if it's your fault, saying it's your fault or it's not their fault at least, that could potentially make it longer. Because then what we have to do is we would probably still treat it the same way until we get to the negotiation phase. Then I will just be arguing on your behalf. why it should be 100% on them or whatever it might be. We may have to get more reports from experts that may have to, depending on the case. So it makes it a little bit more involved, which again, more time, unfortunately. And then the other one is when we can't resolve the claim. When we can't resolve it with the insurance company and we're forced to file a lawsuit. As we all know, the courts in this country are very fast. So it's going to be one of those things that it just takes time. Now, fortunately, both Arizona and Nevada, a lot of places around the country have, I would say, paths in their court system in hopes to speed up civil cases. A lot of it was adopted prior to COVID, some with COVID. So it does make it easier on the clients. We can do most of the stuff via Zoom. They don't have to go appear in court. So it's nothing like that. So it does make it a little easier. But in terms of the time, the court still moves at a snail's pace for sure.
Yeah. That is not a big secret, no doubt.
No.
So, during these waiting periods, sort of between the big milestones or whatever, what's happening behind the scenes that clients don't see?
So there's a lot. I mean, ultimately, once they sign with us, that's where we really scramble for information. So while our clients are treating, we send all the letters of representation to the other insurance company. We try to collect pictures. If there are witnesses, we will call them or send our investigator to them to get a statement from those witnesses. We'll also make sure that any property damage claim or any claim for that matter is open on the insurance side for you. So we'll open those claims. You don't have to worry about anything like that. So you shouldn't be getting any letters even from the insurance company. And so really, and then we're working with the insurance company to, one, make sure that they agree with us that you're not at fault. And if they say you are, then it gets, that's when I will be calling the adjuster. We'll try to get more pictures. We'll wait on the police report. We'll get all of that. So really what it comes down to is we are constantly collecting and getting data and information from providers, from clients' friends. If the injuries are significant, to show, how it's really affecting your life, call family. So it's really, I hate to say the broad term investigation, but that is a lot of what's going on kind of behind the scenes when you're treating and it doesn't feel like anything's happening.
Yeah. I think that I could see that people getting impatient in those situations, and everybody obviously wants these things to go fast. I mean, that's ideally, like in the perfect world, you just want it behind you. You want it in your rearview mirror. How difficult is it for you to sort of like not talk people into, I don't want to say it like that, but let people know that by being patient and a longer case may result in a better outcome for them.
Right. So I'll give you the short answer and then I'll say the medium one. But so the short answer is the insurance companies want you or want clients and to get pissed off. They are hoping you get impatient. They will extend negotiation times. They won't respond to my emails and calls. That is not out of laziness. It is purposeful. It is there because they want that exact interaction that you're asking me about. They want clients to be pissed off, and I'm their hub. And so when people get impatient, they're like, all right, what do we need to get this done? I'll accept that last offer, whatever. So it's one of those things where patience can really bring out not even the value of the case, but at least let the insurance company come to the table. Because really, if you show that the waiting game is not going to work for you, you're not desperate to settle it, even though you might be, it's one of those, it's a situation that you are creating for yourself that's easily avoided. Now, it stinks. I get it. Life goes on. You might have missed work, all those kinds of things. And so I try to get that to my clients in the beginning, setting expectations. We know life is going to continue despite you being hurt, despite you going to all this treatment, despite dealing with me, taking time out of your day to talk to me. It's what I joke with clients all the time. It's like, my job is to call you while you're at your job. And that is literally it. I call people during the day. So I try really hard to allow clients to vent. I mean, there's a reason why I always say they call us counselors, right? So let us know if something's going on in your life, because we don't want, as your representative, neutral in theory, your outside items, life, work, family, to affect this case. Because you're right, that stuff will come and go. this case is kind of like a portion of your life that you may not have that much knowledge about. So the last thing I want is stressors from outside of this case to completely affect the value or potential value of your case. So really, I get it. I'm not the most patient person in the world, so I completely understand when people get impatient and bills are piling up. And so it's just one of those things to kind of take a step back. And I've done it with clients before. So we'll just take a look. It's like, hey, what are you missing in terms of bills? I can't pay my rent. Okay, well then, we'll just explore different options from that respect. So I really try hard to allow clients, while yes, to panic in terms of stress and not know exactly what's going to happen next, but also let them know that we've been here before. I get it. I have people that I can connect you with if you really need help, and we can kind of make it work either way. So really, it's just making that decision that could grossly affect the long-term or value of your case.
And when it comes to medical treatment timelines, do they have a pretty big impact on the settlement negotiations?
Yeah, they absolutely do. And so really that pain and suffering term that everybody's heard, nobody really knows what it means. It's calculated for me how the treatment affected you and how the injury affected your life. That's the suffering portion. The best way I can always describe it is when somebody has surgery, the pain and suffering from that surgery is part of the claim. That's different. And then the recovery from it, the physical therapy, I've had physical therapy on a knee surgery. It's awful. It's grueling. And then sometimes you need scar therapy, which is a whole other concept. So it's really, it's twofold. It's the bills, right? It's what's been recommended. It's the cost of that medical care. And then it's also how that medical care really affects you. Now, everybody's different. That's why, me and you might be great at the chiropractor and we'll be fine, but some, much older person, 80-year-old, 90, just somebody that's been around longer may have more issues and have to go longer. And so it's just one of those things that it really, every person is different and every person's body reacts differently to potentially the same accident. So really it's just listening to your body, understanding when you're back to normal or at least better. And that's really kind of what I try to tell clients, that it's like, just treat it as an individual. You're sick. You're trying to get better. And so I know it goes against nature, but really people are so hard on themselves that they'll only go to doctors when they feel awful. 12 out of 10, they'll try to fight it off with, over-the-counter stuff. But really, it might feel like a task, but I can promise, especially clients out there and especially car accident victims, it's worth it just to get treatment as you need it.
When a case goes to trial, which I know isn't super common, does that automatically mean this is going to be a long one?
Not automatically.
Okay.
That said, I will let clients know that it's a very good possibility. Now, the reason why I don't say automatically, it's because during the negotiation portion, we are generally only dealing with an insurance adjuster. Now, some of those insurance adjusters are attorneys also. Most are not. So what's great is sometimes you will get an attorney involved once you file the lawsuit. An attorney will sit down, they'll evaluate the case for the insurance company and say, hey, maybe we should try to resolve this case. And I've had cases resolved very quickly after filing. Now, that is not, I try really hard to say that is not the common thread, but that is always the possibility. And I try really hard, and I tell clients this too, yes, we're filing a lawsuit, but I will always try to get a resolution on the table for everyone, because it's time consuming. It is a commitment, especially for the clients. I mean, they are basically opening up their medical records and their medical care to a stranger and have somebody dissect it to simply say that you're not hurt or not as hurt as you say you are. So there's a lot to kind of sit down and think about, but no, it's not immediate or automatic that it's going to take forever. But I would say once the suit's filed, the odds are, I always say, at least another year.
Yeah, I could see people getting impatient there. Like if it's going to take that long. I mean, you mentioned before, talking to them and kind of helping them out with what's going on in their lives and stuff. But is it hard for you to try to manage the expectations versus the desires as far as like getting stuff done quickly, especially if trials involved?
Yeah, it really is. And it kind of, and I always tell clients too, I said, as much as much as we might get along, we're going to have to talk a lot more. You might get annoyed from my calls because, yeah, it's one of those things where there's so much time that elapses where nothing occurs in litigation.
Yeah.
And that part is probably the most significant when it comes to explaining these time frames to clients. Because while I can say, hey, I prepared exactly what you asked me to prepare, what I told you I'd prepare, it's in the defense counsel's hands. Defense counsel might have 400 other cases. I'm not a priority. I can follow up all I want, but the court sets out deadlines. And that's what I try to tell clients. Like, unless it's past that deadline that's set out by the court, I can't do much of anything other than annoy them. So those kinds of things, because it's not anything, nothing else in your life will ever be controlled in terms of timelines like that. Because you can always like raise a flag, you can wave your hands up kind of thing. When it comes to litigation, there's not much you can do in terms of the timeline. So it's really just being there for the client and keeping that line of communication open. And I tell that a lot. I tell clients all the time, it will be forever until I have an update, but it won't be forever until you hear from me. So I'll talk to you if you have a question or just want to chat. I'm more than happy. We'll set a call and we'll do it. So that's just really, I think people just don't want to be forgotten and they feel like they are in litigation, even though it's not by purpose. It's not on purpose, I promise.
Yeah, I was curious about that. Do you just kind of check in throughout the course of through the process? Because yeah, I imagine if somebody doesn't hear from you in a while, they're like, what's going on with this thing? So do you just sort of regularly check in and make sure that people know that things are moving?
Yep. Yeah. So we have it actually two different ways. One, at least somebody from my office will always call every month. We try to do 30 to 45 days. I mean, it's one of those things where if you want more, great. If you want less, great too. But we will try to do 30 to 45 days. We also use an automated system, a program that will let the client know when things are changing in their file. And it'll say something like, oh, Travis sent out your demand and we should hear back soon. So it's one of those things that always has them connected in some shape or form. And we're really good, try really hard to allow, for lack of a better phrase, clients access. That it sounds like a weird concept, but allow access to me, to the staff. You will always get a call from me. There's never been a client that has not talked to me at least a couple times during their case. So they will always chat with me and an attorney down the road, if it's not me in the office. But it's just more just a check in and let them know. But really, it's setting those expectations, which I know is tough, but kind of keeping your eye on clients too, because they don't really know exactly what's going on every second. Sure.
Yeah, most of them haven't been through it before. You hope.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Except those few repeats. That's all.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, one thing, if we learned anything, it's that personal injury cases take time, not because lawyers want to drag them out, but because doing it right means doing it thoroughly. Well, thank you very much for joining us today. If you're ready to work with a firm that will keep you in the loop and fight for the full value of your claim, visit azvalleyinjurylaw.com to connect with Travis, and be sure to subscribe to our channel, like our videos, leave us a review. We always appreciate it. Travis, I always appreciate you. Thanks so much for your time.
Yeah, thanks, Kevin. Appreciate it.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button and leave us a review in the comments.